Lewis Hamilton, poof, off to his best start of his career. Max Verstappen, poof, off to his best start of his career. Valtteri Bottas, worst start since 2018. Yikes. Better hope Peter McKinnon doesn't watch these videos, because I just totally ripped off his whole boof thing. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, so you're welcome, Peter. I know we live in the same province, but please don't come and hurt me. I beg of you. So, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well, wherever you are in the world, even if that's in Antarctica. We love the Antarctica fans watching the channel week in and week out. But I know. The title of this video is a little bold. It's a little hot, it's a little steamy, a little juicy, little bare, if you will. But did anyone not see Valtteri Bottas in Drive to Survive? That was pretty bare. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. It was bare and unsolicited, might I add. Now, I know a lot of folks who have been longtime viewers of the channel, which I love. That's fantastic. Thank you for sticking around for some reason. You might call me a hypocrite. Well, you'd be right. I did make a video a while back, last year, in the forbidden year of 2020, where I said that Valtteri Bottas was the perfect man for a Mercedes. And this is the internet, so whatever I say is set in stone, and I can't change my opinion based on new events. So those people can think I'm a hypocrite, but anyone who's rational can understand that I've had a change of mind. And I think that's fine. In all seriousness, I did think Bottas was the perfect man for Mercedes. He was the guy. Valtteri Bottas was seemingly the perfect second driver, even though Mercedes doesn't like to call him that and doesn't like to say he's the second driver. Let's just be honest. Of his 50 podiums for Mercedes up until this point, 26 of them have been second place finishes, and a very small subset of those were when Max won. Most of those, Lewis won those races, and even when Valtteri came third, that was for like the 20 seconds that Red Bull decided to get their act together and actually get on the podium properly. I'm not for a second saying that the whole Lewis Hamilton, it's just the car thing. We're going to get into that later, but for anyone who thinks that that's where this is going, it's not. But just trust me. Let's go on this ride. Let's do this together, all right? Now that brings us to 2021. Valtteri's flaws are seemingly being exposed before our very eyes. Now, it's only a few races into the season, but it can be easy to forget the events of what has happened. So why don't we, just for context, just to make sure we have all the facts straight, dive in to these first 4 races of the 2021 season and make sure we're giving Valtteri a fair critique, shall we? Round 1, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, honestly, this one could have gone a lot worse for Valtteri with how much that Red Bull was being hyped. Going into the season, things were not looking good for Mercedes, especially for Bottas. We all knew Hamilton would do fine, but mainly for Bottas. Luckily enough for him, Perez wasn't quite into it with the car yet. He was still able to start third on the grid and then finish third, which seems fine, right? Holding position, Max finishes second, sure, okay, but that's until you take into account where Bottas would have been if he didn't pit for the fastest lap, which would have been about 12 seconds behind Max and Lewis. Eesh, that's not good, but Mercedes wasn't perfect then. It was kind of the worst Mercedes since the turbo hybrid era, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and move on to round 2, see if he can figure things out. Round 2, Imola.
And we're going to get a safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell, who are out of this race, and they look like they've had a big coming together as well.
Not much to be said. There's just... Let's go to Portugal. Round 3 was the round of P's. Portimao, Portugal. Pole position for Valtteri Bottas. He finally did it. He's on the front row. He's starting the race in the lead. This is awesome, right? But yeah, no, he was passed quite handedly by both Max and Lewis. If he didn't pit, once again, if he didn't pit for the fattest slap, he would have finished about 13 seconds behind the win. So, it's not good. Round 4, Spain. I'm starting to sense a bit of a pattern here. Start third, finish third. You're 7 seconds behind the 2 guys in front. And even though you pit for fastest lap, Max did the same thing in what we know as an inferior car. It comes out 7 seconds ahead of Bottas, who's in the same car as the guy leading the race by eons. And we gotta dig into this. We gotta dig into this right now. Okay. Whoa. Slow down. I know everyone out there is getting on the big hype train against Bottas, but let's throw him his bone. Give him what he's worth. He's finished runner-up in the championship twice out of the 4 seasons he's completed with Mercedes. It's pretty good. 50% runner-up, that's awesome, right? However, what I do think is more than warranted to criticize Bottas on is the fact that he's just not championship material. As much as he wants us to make us think he is, he's not. There's this preconceived notion by anyone that passes him where they know he's not going to fight to get that position back. He's not going to go for you again. He's just going to slot in behind you and stay there. And that's bad because it's in a car that we know can overtake. His teammates done it. He's an all-time great, but his teammates done it. It's doable. And that just doesn't look good on Bottas, no matter what the skill level of Hamilton is. Now, this is fine when Mercedes was the undisputed fastest car on the grid, but even then, when he didn't qualify in the top 2 for whatever extenuating circumstances, be it penalty, be it mistake in qualifying, if he was out of grid place for the start of the race, it was basically a write-off that he was going to be able to get those top-end positions. Unless you're talking about Russia 2020, that's a different story. That's a different Valtteri Bottas. All he would need to do is channel that energy and put it into other racetracks, but that just hasn't happened. But now you enter Max Verstappen, who is in every conceivable way the polar opposite to Valtteri Bottas, who now has a just as fast, if not faster car at some tracks, who is just exposing all those flaws that Bottas has. Then once he gets by him, Bottas just has nothing else up his sleeve to challenge that position back. That's a problem. Now, as for the rumors about Valtteri Bottas possibly being ousted from Mercedes mid-season based on poor performance, I'm going to go with like 90% of F1 fans and say that that is just absolutely absurd. For one, because as Valtteri insinuated in his press conference, there's only one team out there that does that, and it's Red Bull. And for number 2, things would need to get like really bad for that to happen. Like not even finishing in the points, not even coming close. As of right now, things aren't terrible. They're not dire. And that is just not in the conceivable option for Mercedes, especially with George already at the Williams and locked in there. Who do they call on? Stoffel Van Dorn? Because, like, I'm sorry, but I think Bottas is the better bet, as of right now, over Stoffel Van Dorn. The man's still third in the championship. We tend to forget that. He could be a lot farther ahead, too, if that whole Russell crash debacle just didn't happen, which it did, so we have to take that into account. But Perez still hasn't come to grips with his car, so we haven't seen the two of them actually duke it out yet to see if Bottas is faster on merits. And to that point, it's such an early point of the season, such a small sample size. It's a long season this year. We have 19 races left to go. There's still a fight for the constructors because, as we know, F1 is a 2-championship competition. Mercedes still thinks and still sees Bottas as the best chance of them getting second place in the constructors, and until that is in jeopardy, I say they keep him in there because he's tried, he's tested to get that constructors, because as we see, only having one driver up there isn't helping Red Bull get the constructors. So as long as Bottas keeps Perez away, they keep him in that car. So yeah, I kind of just went back on my original argument. So this is like the same video with me slightly disliking Bottas a bit more. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments. Will Bottas's performances continue to slip as the season goes on? And if so, does Merc replace him partway through the season? Or do you see him getting better, getting a few more second place finishes, keeping up with that Constructors' title fight? It could really go either way at this point. Those are the only two options to happen. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I love hearing what you guys all say down there. But I hope you all enjoyed watching this one as much as I enjoyed making it. Feel free to lick the stamp, send that subscribe button down below, drop a big ol' fat like if you really liked it, and don't miss the apex. See ya.